Everybody should be watching Marty Miller,
Good morning,
66
Keller.
day challenge. So, but until then, we have the wonderful John P. Henry in person.
Just kidding. Today is gonna be, I think, pretty fun. So it's getting back to basics. So everybody's style of sales is gonna be different. Do you think anybody in here does it exactly the same? Do you know anybody that's like me?
No.
Okay,
No.
like seriously, there's not. Closest would probably be Turnbull. But there's not. So we all have different styles. So getting back to basics, so I read a book years and years ago called 7 Levels of Communication. Now it's a 9-year-old book, but the basics of that book and what it talks about and how to get to where you want to be in your sales is not changed. Truths don't change. So those things are still very, very imperative in your sales. And for me, it was kind of like, has anybody gone out to eat with me besides like Taylor? Okay, when I go out to eat, do the people there know who I am? Yep, no matter where I go. If I go to a restaurant a year after I have the same server, that server is gonna remember who I am. It happens all the time. Taylor?
Yes.
Yep, she's almost paying attention. But like, to me, that's how I sell. It's not about cold calls, things like that, and we're all different. So certain things are gonna work better for certain people.
Just focus on.
I am, I'm focused.
Let her do what you do.
But I'm gonna move to the next slide in a minute. So the 7 basics, so for me. They're not working.
Are you doing the arrow button?
Yeah.
Oh, you just have to hit it on the record.
We're gonna have fun, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
Ready? Here, I'll just stay here.
Okay, so the first thing, has anybody done their self-discover, the KPA? Like, we all should have taken the test, correct, mostly?
Yeah, you take it when you onboard, the short version, and then there's a longer version if you want to go deeper into that process. But KPA stands for Keller Personality Assessment. And what it does is it's a personality test. So if you've ever taken a personality test, this just goes a little bit deeper. And it'll actually show us based on your personality, not IQ, but on your personality, what job position in the real estate industry you may find energizing versus which jobs in the real estate industry may take energy from you based on your personality type.
And it doesn't mean that you're only designed to do one. It just means that if you don't score high in another type of part of this business, whether it's sales or something, it means you might have to put a different effort in than somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a lot of people that are in this business. There's a girl that I follow from my coach, and she has a whole ADHD program, and she is really afraid to talk to people. In her first year, she did like 36 deals. So do you think she did it by like how I would do it? No, she had to find a different avenue in order to get her business to grow where she needed it. So she started doing community groups and things like that. And that's what worked for her, because from behind a computer, she's good. Some of us, like we just talked about, aren't good at phone calls. So we're gonna kind of go through that and decide what's gonna be best for you. So know yourself so you can understand what type of back to basics is meant for you. So, and I would love for you guys to participate in this too. It's important for me to understand this, so to help you. So how would your best friend describe you? Anybody want to say something? I mean, I know term, go ahead, April.
Nice, caring, considerate, thoughtful.
That's one of the ones we're gonna talk about. Yeah, anybody else? Turnbull?
Sunshine.
I agree.
Yeah.
Brightens a room,
Yes.
brightens a room, great with
Yeah.
one-on-one,
Yes.
yeah. Heather, I don't know you is it Heather?
Mhm.
What would your friends describe you as?
Outgoing.
Good. Jenny?
Crazy, funny.
Okay. Angie?
Probably passionate.
Good, okay. Alert,
Nurturing, helpful.
yep,
Helpful.
helpful, yeah,
Yeah, and comes up with solutions.
yeah.
Probably, mellow.
So your sales and Amy's sales, it's gonna be different.
Right.
So it's about, like I said, we're gonna talk, I'm gonna say this over and over again. It's about getting to where your comfortability is and where it's gonna be good for you to move forward. Because there's gonna be 7 levels that we talk about. And I can tell you like David Becker. Do you guys know who David Becker is? Does anybody know how he started his business?
No.
Postcards. Literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars and postcards. That's how he started his business. Did I start mine that way? Nope. Amy, did you start yours that way? Nope. Everybody's gonna be different. So, Brittany, how would your friends describe you?
I would say quiet and calm.
Yeah, I agree. Miss Madden? Mrs. Madden?
Friendly and funny.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. And not all of our careers started off in real estate. I started off in transportation. Taylor, where did you start?
Nursing.
Nursing. Madden, you were a teacher. April, what did you do?
Still, I'm a behavioral specialist.
Yeah, you are, yeah. Like, I mean, like, we're all have different paths. Like, I started when I was 28, there's people that started when they're younger, there's people that started in their 40s or 50. And somebody that started in their 40s compared to somebody started in their 20s, like, let's say Zach, who focuses on video. And that same thing I focus on, but we're 2 different age brackets. So like, for him and I, our basics are similar, but also very different, because I'm trying to push towards people in my age group, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, and he's trying to push towards people in his age group. So he made a video the other day, basically talking about 5 ways to save money to buy a house. And when I listened to this, it was directed to people his age, like DoorDash, buy pizza instead of movers. Like in my world, people my age, we don't want pizza. They don't want you to say, hey, John, will you buy us pizza and beer and we'll help you move? They don't want you to ask that question. They just want you to hire a mover. But for Zach's group, his basics is getting to those people, mine's getting to different type of people, if that makes sense.
100%.
So there's 4 types, and basically, so straight to the point, social and outgoing, steady and dependable, cautious and accurate. So who would say they're straight to the point? Is like their number one. Everybody's gonna have at least a little. You see that guy?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh,
I'm paying attention to you.
thank you. Who here we have some of this in all of us, okay? But what you need to focus on is which one's your main, okay? So who would say that they're more straight to the point than anything? Heather, cool, got it.
I think I can be, like, I'm calm, but I'm also like, in a meeting, I'm very straight to the
Yeah.
point.
Who would say social and outgoing? Turbo,
Amy, your hand should be
Mhm.
all the way
I'm
up.
multitasking.
ADHD, we're a part of that group, and also another group
Yes.
called Clarity, correct?
Yeah.
And Clarity's for people that,
Our pricing sobriety.
yeah, so I'm sober, Amy's sober. And that's why I told her to say it first, because I'm not supposed to tell people what she is. Right, steady and dependable. Yes, I can see that, April. Yep, I can see that. I don't know you, but I can see that. Taylor, very steady. She wants like things to be the way they are. And it's really hard in her life at times, and it's really hard in my life. So that pulls away from some of the stuff that we want to do. So we have to maneuver and find different avenues to maybe build up our social outgoing, because this is not always the best for us because of situations in our lives. And that's safe to say for everybody. So then we got cautious and accurate. Yeah, I can see that, Angie. Angie and I just worked together. She bought her first home. She did such a great job with looking paperwork. She was amazing person to work with because she's cautious and accurate. But when I'm working with somebody, and this goes to, so like, if I'm social and outgoing and the person I'm working with is straight to the point, do I need to be more like them or should they be more like me? Yes. Same thing with mirroring people. You're sitting across from somebody and they're like this, you should be like this. If they're leaned in, you should be leaned in. If they're not, if they're looking at their phone, maybe ask them if they're texting you. Is that for me? You sent me a message. And so cautious and accurate is not a bad thing, but you have to be able to read people in this as well. Because if you can't read somebody else, you're not gonna do well in sales. You just won't. Because if I go through a house and it's an engineer, do you think he cares much about the yard, or do you think he cares about how the house was structured? How far apart the joists are? Like, what should I be focusing on for an engineer? What should I be focusing on people with children? Is it gonna be different? Somebody that's social and outgoing? Do they want blocked off house from the seventies? Or do you think somebody that's social and outgoing wants an open floor plan? Because they like to entertain, or they like to have people over. So once again, it's not just getting back to basics for our sales, but it's learning about other people at the same time to make sure we're mirroring what they want. Because if you, like I said, if you can't do that, if you can't read that, it's really tough. But you can listen to podcasts on this, YouTube videos, there's classes, and KPA can actually, doing your KPA can help you understand who you are. And once you figure out who you are and you're kind of going through these questions, it'll help you understand what other people are. Like I can say, if I was showing Jenny houses, she's hilarious. Amy houses, hilarious. We would joke the whole time. We'd probably be a little ADHD, probably miss a couple things about the house. It might not be a bad idea for us to have second showings, things like that. But ultimately, I know what I'm working with, okay? And if I were to show April houses, I would probably be a little more quiet. I would probably look a little bit deeper into the home. I would probably, and she's helping me be a little bit better at times because I'm gonna be looking a little bit closer for things because of that accuracy she wants. And with Angie was like, here's my budget. I wanna buy something. Am I okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
I wanna buy something and I don't mind putting a little sweat equity into it. And then her husband says, what's that? And I said, that means you're
He
doing
probably
more."
made it up.
Wax on,
It was
wax
very
off.
cute.
What's that?
He probably made it up. He's like, you just made that up. I was like, I promise you I didn't.
No, it's not made up by me. But so like knowing like, okay, we're getting into this house, Angie, my job with her was to say, listen, is the location okay? This stuff here, I get it, it can all be fixed, it's cosmetic. We could probably still get an inspection to make sure there's nothing major, but I'm mirroring what she wants to do. So it helped us work really, really well together. So D, so there's DISC, which I'll go over this. So D stands for dominance. Ds are straight to the point, driven, fast-paced, impatient, efficient, brutally honest. They want to get to the bottom line. Anybody feel like this is them? Now, these are all fed off those last four we just did. Heather, that's you? Okay, like, let's get to the point.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I like this because this is like a person that's gets to, there's another book I read called Getting to Know, and it's not K-N-O-W, it's N-O. So if it's gonna be a no, let's get there now. If we're gonna look at a house and it's not gonna work, like I can't tell you how many times in this competitive market, I've called agents and said, hey, is this offer even gonna work? And if they say no, then I don't write it, because I want to get to know as fast as possible, not waste my time, not waste the buyer's time. Okay, so this is that type of person, getting to know as fast as possible. They're gonna be brutally honest, impatient, like that's a big one. Like they want to get this done, and it doesn't mean they're pushing you to make a decision, but they're trying to get to the answer as fast as possible. The only thing is you don't want to mess this up by being too pushy and rushing things, because sometimes you can miss things. So this person might have to look at themselves and look at the basics of what type of person they are and say, hey, listen, I'm a D, I'm a high D. So if I'm a high D and I get a little impatient, I might need to become an I, which you'll see what's next. But anybody want to take a guess at whose picture is going to pop up as a D? Go ahead. He's a D. Trent is on the go 24/7. He doesn't miss beats. He's always driving. He's always in his car. He's always selling. Okay. He's building relationships, but he's impatient. He wants to get it done and he wants to get it done now. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but you have to learn from that while you're doing it. Next. So I stands for influence. I's love socializing. They're often outgoing, friendly, emotional, energetic. They're the life of the party. So these people can talk to anybody. Go out to a restaurant with me. Everybody at that restaurant knows who I am. Go to a sporting event with me. everybody in the stands, not everybody, but you go to a sporting event. Taylor, how many people have I introduced you to in 6 years?
Too many.
Like, I've introduced her to people 6 times and she still doesn't know who they are because it's been too many people.
And that's the only reason why I say too many. It's just because it's hard to keep track of. I know I've met you before, but I've also been introduced to thousands of people, so just kind
And,
Like there's a face,
Yeah.
we've seen it.
of, right.
and it's not like that I'm very outgoing and I'm very sincere. So when I do talk to people, there's sincerity. Like I actually want to hear from them. And people tell me the craziest stuff in a matter of minutes. Like it doesn't matter if you're a stranger. I went to Bass Pro 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, 60-some-year-old lady. I was going through the checkout. I was like, do you want to donate to 4-H? And I went to hit $1. I hit 5. And I was like, I meant to hit $1. She's like, I can back it out. I was like, no, it's God's plan, $5. She goes, I'm glad you live like that because I'm struggling right now. I said, what's wrong? We start talking about God a little bit and then she says, my husband's been cheating on me. She's 65. I've known this lady for 24 seconds. People tell me everything because I give off maybe an aura of like comfortability or that I care because I'm actually sincere when I talk to people. I'm gonna say I'm not full of crap. I'm not. Some people think I am, most of my family, and that's okay. My brothers and sisters, okay. But so I'm an eye. Plus I only have one eye.
Oh my God. I heard you say I have an eye and I knew you were gonna. I know.
So I only have one working eye, so now I have 2. And that's why I have an iPhone. Okay, next. All right, so S, steadiness. And S is steady and dependable. S is nurture. They live to serve and please others. They prefer predictability and security over spontaneity and excitement. They enjoy executing systems. I can see that being you, April.
Now that I see this,
Not so much.
I'm dependable, yeah.
Well, I know-
I like some spontaneity sometimes.
And this
Yeah.
doesn't mean
I
you don't like
understand.
that. Because I
Yeah.
showed this to somebody and I said, this is you. And they're like, that's not me. I like spontaneity. I'm like, I understand that, but you're also like, you're more of a nurturer than spontaneity. I mean, this person takes care of her parents and her mom every day of her life. This person cares more than I've seen anybody care about anybody. She's a nurturer. That's what she is. And that means this is probably her number one, even though she is funny, outgoing, and she is, yada, yada, yada. Who is it?
Taylor.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, God. Really?
You like that one, Taylor? That's Taylor's second.
I warned him about this.
Yeah.
I told her last night, she's like, you put the turkey picture up there, didn't you? I was like, yes, I did. But she's a nurturer. So her
Minus
skills,
the turkey.
minus, well, she cried after she killed it, so she's still a nurturer. But honestly, I can tell you, that is her. So when she's focusing on, her sales is different. Like I had her show some houses for me this weekend, and her way of working with those clients is different than I'm working with. Like she's more nurturing and she's more dependable, I would say, than I am with certain things. Like, how bad was I with my calendar for years?
I mean, you're still kind of bad at it.
How do you figure?
You're getting better.
You are much.
Progress,
What did I
not
miss
perfection.
recently?
What's that?
What did I miss recently?
Actually, no, you haven't missed
Yeah.
a meeting.
I did make a joke when she posted this on Facebook. I wrote, I should put this in my calendar. But I'd already done that. Because I'm not quite as dependable when it comes to stuff like that. I have some ADHD issues and I have some short-term memory problems and things like that.
But you know that about
I
yourself.
do.
So you implemented a
And
system.
knowing's half the battle. Anybody? Who
Yeah.
knows that? Knowing's half the battle? Now I know. G.I. Joe? Okay, you guys think? All right.
Good job.
Thanks. Next.
ADHD.
So C is for compliance. C's are perfectionists who expect everyone to comply with rules. These guys crave order, process. They can seem almost inflexible. This is the person that tells you it's more important to do the right thing than do it fast. So this should be your broker. This should be your broker, okay?
And your lender.
And your lender, yes. We do like a little bit of gray there. a little bit.
That's where Jeremy can step in.
Yeah.
Angie's role is like.
We don't like the fraud. We're not into that. No, no, no. But we do like a little bit of grind. But this is a person, like I said, that if you have contract questions, this is the person you need to ask. Am I doing the right thing? Is this how I should have written this? And they're always gonna tell you never write in the contract. Like I write on page 14, this person will smack you around for doing that. Sorry that I do that. Cause I'm gonna show whose pictures up here. Who does anybody think it is? Well, you guys don't know who the
I was
person
thinking
is.
that matter.
Well, I was gonna do that, but then I did the king. You ready?
Oh,
Gary Muccio.
Gary Muccio.
Gary Muccio, if you have a contract question or anything like that, this man is as smart as they come. He is a perfectionist. And I'm telling you, if you write an offer and you're competing and your offer doesn't have every T crossed and I dotted, you're not winning with Gary.
It helps too that he is on the board that like helps make changes with PAR forms.
He is, yep.
So he knows the forms.
He's like Jim Goldsmith too. Like these guys are the kings of the kings of the contract. And they want things done correctly. And in all honesty, when you do things correctly, not only are you protecting your client, who else are you protecting? Yourself. Okay, because if you don't protect yourself, E&Os go up, insurance, which happens, and then it costs you more money every month. Okay, so doing the job right, like they say here, is more important than doing it fast. So there's a balance here. This person's all about dotting the i's and crossing the t's, and they're not necessarily as much as, maybe not as outgoing. Gary's a very outgoing person. But once again, you're gonna be one of these four. You're gonna be, part of all of these, but you're gonna be heavier in one of them. So you need to focus on that and understand how you can utilize the other ones that you're not as good at. Because I'm really good at social and outgoing. How can I be more of a perfectionist? How can I be more nurturing? Like, these are the things. How can I be more impatient? I'm pretty good at that, actually. But anyway, so that's my job, is to look through myself, do my KPA, do some self-discovery and find out where I should be. Because if I can't do that, I'm never gonna get back to my basics of selling, which is what we're all here to do. Are we selling houses? Or are we selling our relationships with others? Because if you ask me, we're selling relationships with others, not houses. If I can build relationships with people, I'm gonna sell houses. And the longer I've been in the business, the more I've been trusted, and the more people have come to me. Because if anybody knows me, well, let's go to the next slide, because I want to talk about the 7 levels.
No, I have it faded in.
Oh, yeah, well, let's get to this one. So care like everyone is an S. Smile like everyone is an I. Prepare like everyone's a C. And sell like everyone's a D. Okay? So this is what you should be pulling from. And they can get a copy of this.
Yep, we'll put it in the need to know.
They're gonna put
with
this
the
in the
report.
need to know. All right, next. I make myself laugh more than anybody, so. All right, so the 7 levels of communication. This is a great book. If you've never read it, it is really, really good. Now, there's some things in here you may not like. And you can ask me what they are later on, because I'm not gonna talk about it now, but the book was written like 10 years ago. So there's some stuff that are in there then that's probably not the best thing. Anyway, so what did you say? The higher you go, the more impact you have. So yes, oh yeah, the words right there. So the higher you go up on this, the more impact you're gonna have on people. Okay, so you get a,
Do you see phone calls, Katie?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
I hate
That's why I'm
phone calls.
leaving.
let's go to phone calls real quick, Katie. And I'll call you. So, do you think it's gonna be more impactful to have a billboard or to have an email? To one person?
Email.
Email, okay. Is it gonna be more impactful to do an email or a phone call?
Oh,
Phone call, so it's the same thing. So now you're moving up. So let's talk about advertising first. There's basics of advertising. Advertising. So this can be billboards. You ever seen those Lean Tunes where kids wait in buses and there's a lot of real estate ones? Like, these are things like that. Like, to me, never done one. I have put up some banners at baseball fields. But I've done that basically for write-offs, because I realize I'm not probably gonna get any business from it. You may not. Golf courses where you have like your name on, your sponsorship on a hole. I've actually done those and made fun of friends because I know I'm not getting anything from real estate, so I've actually picked on my buddies and made signs about them instead. Because I know I'm not getting anything from it, I'm gonna still use it as a write-off, you know? I think that's okay. This is-
That's scary.
Rest was not watching.
Yeah.
So that's advertised. So the impact it's gonna have, eh. But if you do it correctly, advertising, like the David Becker team has done, they plug away at that. That's advertising. You know, they're sending out mail outs, things like that. So go to the next one. So that's where we get to advertising turns into direct mail. So this is the Beckers. So their direct mail campaign has literally turned their business into millions and millions and millions of dollars of income, not sales, income. Because they're steady at it, they do it correctly, they're consistent, they send. So there was a study that was done by a college, and I've seen this video tons of times. They did a survey in the neighborhood. And they said, who's the best real estate agent in this neighborhood? And they went through and they got all these different names, okay? So what they did for the next eight weeks is they sent out postcards of a fake real estate agent. For 8 weeks. 8 weeks, every week they sent out postcards. They went back, they did the survey again. The number one agent preferred in that neighborhood was this fake agent that nobody's ever even met. Direct mail. Like if you do it consistently, you can't just, these are things that I have to work on every day. Like did one for Dartmouth Green last year, did one postcard. How many phone calls did I get?
Yeah.
Goose egg. Nothing. Was I consistent?
No.
Not at all. I wasn't persistent, I wasn't consistent, I didn't do it the way I've been taught to do it. We've actually had lots of speakers talk about that. I was over at a Harrisburg office for one of these, and it was unbelievable the stuff that people can do by just sending mail outs. It takes effort though, and it takes money. But if you do it right, the return is gonna be good. So electronic communication. Also not great. But I have Sean. Sean works on our team. Sean does a lot of this stuff. Now, we just started, yesterday, I started DTD2. What does that mean?
Basically, it's a formula of letters and you call, people who their name starts with the two letters that DTV2 outlines for you, and then you text a third letter. And it just allows you to touch your entire database in a year,
Twice a year.
without, missing anybody. Like if you were to do A and B, C
It was
and D, and F.
AW yesterday.
Right,
So
It's-
today,
Quarterly, actually, and it's right.
yeah, it's quarterly, yeah.
so.
It's F and G this week.
Let me see.
The point of it being is if you do A and B, C and D, E and F, the way that names are, popular way of our names are, I can't think of the right way to say that right now, but you would take too long to
Take
get
too
through
long.
people.
So-
So to do A and W, B and E, it's formulated so that way you're touching the right amount of people consistently over time.
Mine says, wasn't really personal. So today, my tasks are, I have 5 phone calls today. Patty's one of them. Coley's one of them. That's our vet. So these are my 4 phone calls I have to make. So I have to go through here and make these calls. And then when I do it directly from here, it brings up the phone number and everything. How easy does that get? And then when you're done, it says, are you done? You just hit complete. So then my tasks are done. So this is electronic communication that turns into another area. But what else happens is Sean does our neighborhood nurture. So anybody that's in my database gets a neighborhood nurture. Does anybody know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that like a snapshot of the area that they live in?
Every month. They come up every month. Every month. We also do newsletters. We also do all sorts of other stuff. Do I do those? No. Is that something I'm good at? Nope. Not good. And I've probably lost millions of dollars of business in 18 years because it's things that I'm not good at and I've not had the right people in place to help me. Like, bad to say, but it's true. So handwritten notes, really great thing to do. If you can do 5 a week, that's really great. 1 a day. I thanks for everything, thanks for the referral, here's 25 bucks at Starbucks. You know how good that is to get? Like if somebody gets something in the mail and I get stuff in the mail and I can tell that it's printed and not signed. Well, that's not real ink. I'm throwing it in the trash. I'll rip that thing right up. But if I see a personal note from somebody, like Angie sends personal notes every single time I work with her. And I love it. I read most of them. I do, I love that. But if you send somebody like, hey, it was great talking, you had a conversation with somebody, you did your DTD2, you talked to 4 people, and then tonight I write 4 personal notes. Like, that's such a great thing. It was great talking to you. I'm so glad. Like yesterday, I called people, they were on my DTD2. They live in Michigan. I sold their house here. Did I still call them? Yep. Am I gonna get a referral from them? They still have friends in that neighborhood. They do. I got to talk to them about their pizza shop that they sold and blah, 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 and about their kids and about her husband and things like that. And it was great conversations yesterday. Like I had 4 really good conversations yesterday. And because it was A and W, it wasn't just A and B, which would have been, might have been 16 phone calls. Like that's too many. So it divides it out really, really well. So you do these things like that and you write a personal note or you see somebody at the grocery store. I ran into a couple 2 days in a row at 2 Starbucks. She had on a UCF sweatshirt. I went to UCF for 2 years, University of Central Florida. So I'm down at Starbucks in Enola. Then the next day I saw them at Starbucks across from Kohl's in ABC West Ball Alley. I asked their names. I found out their names. Guess what I did? Tax record. Then I sent them a note and a $10 gift card to Starbucks. Put my card in there. Maybe someday they'll call me. Totally worth doing. The next one's phone calls. Not my favorite thing to do. I like to text over phone. And when I do talk on the phone, I'm the annoying guy that does it on speakerphone. So I walk into the grocery store like this and then I have to put it against my ear and I hate it. But I do it out of respect. You don't want to be that person at the restaurant on speakerphone. But making those phone calls is really important. But it's not just about making phone calls. A lot of people invest in Zillow. I've invested in Zillow. And I suck at answering the Zillow calls. So it's not a good thing for me to do. It's not. Trent, he don't miss a call. He doesn't. He refuses to miss phone calls for Zillow. So if it's something you like to do, you like to build relationships via the phone calls, there's certain things that might be basic for your business that's different than somebody else's. And that might be, I'm gonna invest in Zillow or what are some of those other ones called? Not Lone Wolf, there's
Like Op City,
Op City, and then there's one other big one, but I can't think.
Soul.com.
There's another one, but anyway, something like that, you may want to do that. But picking up the phone to say hi to people. Like yesterday, I called an old buddy, it was his birthday, I saw it on Facebook. He wasn't on my list of phone calls, but I made sure I called him. I call people for their birthdays all the time. I do. Birthday cards are great too. I saw some sitting here. Know what these are?
Yeah, we're doing those on a DTD2 schedule. Well, no, on the task schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How nice is it to get an actual card with handwritten on it? You know, and I don't know what the rule is for how long you're supposed to keep cards. That's something Taylor and I were like, I have to sit this out for a little bit, throw it away. How long do you keep a Christmas card? And it's right into the trash. I'm just kidding. But these are some of the things that you have to look into. So you got your personal note, then all of a sudden you make a phone call. Call somebody because you saw them at the grocery store, call somebody because you're checking on their kids, or I love when I see a friend post a video of a kid that did something really cool in sports. I was like, oh my gosh, I saw your video. How cool was it to be there? I do that all the time. Those are the phone calls I like. Okay, so for me, it might be different than you. You might like to talk about current markets and things like that. But one of the things you can do with your DTD2 when you're making these phone calls is like, hey, I just want to say hi. Talk about normal stuff. They will ask you about real estate most likely. How's work going? It's going really good. If you do know anybody, you know, there's still not a lot of houses for sale. If you know anybody that's looking to sell, feel free to give me a call. Or if you know anybody, that's how you get these business relationships started when it comes to people that might be in your database. Events and seminars. Michelle Snyman, Erica Rawls, Julie Hess, all queens at this. They're really good at this stuff. We had a senators event last year. I'm not good at it. I don't do well in giant crowds talking to many people. I can focus on a small group. I mean, we went to Vegas. Taylor was trying to talk to me on the elevator the one day, and I was like, don't talk, I cannot actually talk, I couldn't actually talk to her, there's too much going on around me, I couldn't do it. I remember going, I was on the one side of the Vegas, going to go to a class, and I saw hundreds and hundreds of people walking, and I was like, huh. I went and took a nap, I did, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it, so events and seminars, I don't mind them. Like, for me, an event that I would like would be the pie pickup. Gonna come in, you say hi, they leave, I'm good with that. But it's the big events, like the Senators game, like I'm still going, I'm still doing it, but I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable talking to all these different tables, it's not what I'm good at. I thought I was forever, oh, this is when I'm prime, this is when I roll, I don't, I know it now. Like I've learned this over the years. And it's also the other thing that I have to do for myself, if I'm going to a Penn State game, I'm fine, because I'm prepared, I know what I'm getting into. But when I went to Vegas, I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know there was 20,000 people there. I thought it was gonna be like 800. That's literally what I thought. I was like, oh, it'd be like 2,000 people. I walked into this room, I never saw anything like it in my life. Like that was a lot for me. So events and seminars, if you're doing them, make sure it's something that you like to do too. Like I want to do ice cream truck this year. Because we get their ice cream, they leave. I like that. That's good for me and my ADHD. How are you with that?
I thrive in the moment, but then my recovery period is so long.
So long.
Like, I love Vegas. I'm like energized and I'm like pumped up and it was like, yeah. But it took like a good solid week at least for me to feel like I was almost like coming down.
Yeah.
It was so much overwhelmed that my body kind of just needed to.
I think I did well the first couple of days there. You know, knowing Ben was there was helpful, but then
Yeah.
whatever.
He was good,
You
Yeah.
were good to talk to, like that was helpful.
Good grounding.
Yeah, good grounding. But ultimately, after like 3 days, I was done there. Like
Yeah.
it was too much for me.
Yeah,
Like I mean, I took road trips by myself, like it was important for me to get out, because I can't handle that.
mm-hmm,
But, and that recovery thing's big for me, like understanding, especially and I know this is a little bit more about my story, but when I got sober. And then there was like a Super Bowl or my birthday or this or that. I would go through depression for days because it was like, the big high and then the fall afterwards for me was really difficult. And I had to learn that about myself. Like, so now when I do have these events, I have to prepare myself like, you know what, John? Just remember, this recovery might be hard. You might be down. So I might need to sleep for a day or so. That's very possible.
One thing I'll just add with events, if you don't like to make phone calls, events make it easier to make a phone call because you're calling to invite them
Yes.
to an event, to a seminar. Then you're sending them a note after the event, thanking them for coming. Like there's a lot of touches to your database, even if they don't show up to the event or the seminar. The invite doesn't feel as awkward and it's all value. You're just providing value to the people in your database. You're not asking for business, but it's just, hey, I'd love for you to come get ice cream, or hey, I'd love for you to come to my first time home buyer seminar. Like you're not selling anything, it's just value, value, value. And it makes the phone calls and the conversations, especially if you're a high I or a high S, feel more comfortable.
Yeah, so Katie Mann, if you're listening, you can call them and then you can say, are you coming to my event? And when they answer, that's it. You can hang up.
Yep,
Just let me know.
yep.
Thanks. So this is my favorite. This is where I shine. One-on-one meetings. Now, let me go back a little bit. So I do a lot of public speaking, or I used to do a lot more, but I could talk in front of 10,000 people. Like they're out there. I can talk in front of 1,000, 800, 20, 12, whatever's in here, it doesn't matter. But there's nothing better than that one-on-one, that building that relationship. This is what I'm best at. This is where I thrive. Like I said earlier, I can get somebody to tell me something about their personal life, not that I'm asking them. They have a comfortability with me to tell me something about their personal life in 30 seconds. Where they're like, hey, John, you know, it's really great to meet you. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. I can't tell you how many people that have reached out to me that are people that I don't know that well on Facebook to tell me things about their life that they're struggling with. Like these are where I thrive. So if you can get through these 7 steps and you get to these, no matter what, this is always going to have the most impact. So it's like you meet them at the grocery store, hey, we should do coffee sometime. How many times have you said that and never done it? Do the coffee, have the meal, hang out with these people. Spend $10, who cares? Like this is, you can't spend it, you can't make it if you're not spending something. You're reinvesting in yourself. You know, I just had a lunch with a guy Friday and he owns a restaurant. He just want to do it forever. He's a buddy of mine. I've known him for a long time and we had a one-on-one and we're gonna start working together a little bit here and there with referrals. So that's important for me. You know, just hanging out with these people and going over to a friend's house to watch football. Tonight, I'm going to one of my oldest friends from my childhood. His son plays baseball in Mechanicsburg. I'm going there tonight. Swen from my team might meet me over there. It's at 4 o'clock. You know, I'm gonna see the grandmother of this kid who I sold a house to. I'm gonna go talk to her. Might that help me? Maybe she knows somebody her work that's selling, buying, something like that. But maybe I go to lunch with her in a week or two. You know, these are the things that my business builds from. So I go to any type of restaurant and I talk to these people, like Valley Bistro, anywhere I go. Even when we go to Chen's, the people at Chen's know who we are?
Mhm.
We go there, what, once every 6 months now?
Yeah.
And they love seeing us. They do. So having that one-on-one, whether it's with a server or you're taking someone out to lunch. So when you read this book, Seven Levels of Communication, this lady takes a guy Rick out to lunch. She goes, and this is kind of where like I fed off this when I first read this book. Takes a guy out to lunch. Everybody, like I said, in the restaurant, go to Bath Pro or Sportsman's Warehouse with me. They know who I am there. Like the stores that I go to and consistently go to, the people know who I am and they know what I do. And I've got referrals. Like I'm working with people right now from Sportsman's Warehouse. That just because they know who I am.
I think something important too to point out with newer agents, right, newer to business agents, where there's a little bit of like fear and hesitation for those one-on-one meetings because you're not fully like immersed in your real estate career yet, or you feel like your knowledge base is a little bit low, that these one-on-one meetings are not about what you know, it's about getting to know the person that's sitting in front of you. And so not having a fear, but just really leaning into you know, them and who they are and what, you know, they like to do and what their needs are and learning more about them. Everyone wants to feel heard. So I would just encourage those one-on-one meetings, even if you are newer to business. Because again, building relationships is about learning about the other person and it doesn't have to be real estate related, but those things will come as well.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that, as I said earlier, like, we're not selling houses, we're building relationships and building trust. And that's where you get your business. And that's why these one-on-one meetings are so important. I have one-on-one meetings with Brittany. I'm not getting real estate business out of this, but do you think they help my business? I have coaching, one-on-one coaching. You think that helps my business? Yeah, I'm investing in this. I can tell you, people in brokerages don't utilize the amenities that brokerages offer all the time. You are giving so many opportunities with Keller Williams to learn in these Tuesday education classes, seminars, personal coaching when it comes to just having meetings with your TL. You know, especially if people in PC, like how great is it to be in PC and know you have somebody to depend on that you can call? And trust me, she works all the time. Like she's always trying to help you. She's a nurturer. You guys feel that as PC? Yeah, that's her number one. So when she's a nurturer, or whether you're dominant, whatever you are, social, doesn't matter. Get to the one-on-one meeting and make sure that's how you build your relationship. I have built my relationship, or excuse me, my entire business off of Facebook and one-on-one meetings. That's it. Videos, Facebook, videos, posts, things like that. And how often do I put real estate stuff on there? Does anybody follow me? Not that often. I don't, but people in my Facebook know what I do. So get to the one-on-one. Let me show that last slide. So once again, we start with advertising, direct mail, electronic communication, handwritten notes, phone calls, events, seminars, and one-on-one meetings. So these top three, this is the influential zone, okay? So this is when you're the most influential. Okay, that's how you actually build the relationship. This is your informational zone. okay, which is electronic communication, direct mail, and advertising. So, and if you get through handwritten notes, like I said, the higher you go up, the more impact you have, the better relationships you're gonna build, and the better your business is gonna be. Question?
Does any of this look familiar? Anybody read Millionaire Real Estate Agent? So Gary Keller says we need to be lead gen based and marketing enhanced. And this is why, because influential is your lead gen. The one-on-one meetings, the events and seminars, the phone calls. That's where those relationships are truly built. And then marketing enhanced, because it might help to stay on top of mind, gain that mind share when you are advertising. Because they're getting a phone call from you, and a note from you, and they're getting invited to a seminar from you, but then they're seeing your advertisement, on a Facebook ad or the bus stop ads, right? So lead gen based, influential zone based, marketing enhanced, informational zone.
Have you ever heard of working on your business versus working in your business? So working in your business down here, this is in it. This is working on your business. So I would consider this like your contract to close section as well. That's working in your business. This is when you're actually doing your lead gen. Because I've always said, I don't do lead gen. I don't do lead gen. I don't do lead gen like a normal real estate agent. That's not my typical lead gen. Not that there's a normal real estate agent typical, standard, but my lead gen, when I always say I don't do lead gen, I'm full of it, I do. But my lead gen is like this one right here.
Well, with Sean putting you on the DTV2 schedule and you having tasks every day, you actually are doing.
Now,
that.
that started yesterday, so this is new, we'll see how it goes. 4 days still, I forgot about that till this class, so we'll get on there. But, no, it's your lead gen's gonna be different than somebody else's. So if you do decide, like, you get through PC or you're, an experienced agent, you wanna join a team someday, is it the right team for you? Is it the right brokerage for you? Like, you have to look at these things about yourself and what they offer, and does it fit what your business model is or what you plan to do? So make sure you do research. Like Barb Cochran says, slow to hire, quick to fire. Like, if you're gonna be in this business and you wanna join somebody or join a brokerage, don't just jump and say I'm in. Do some research. Does it match your core values? Does it match you as a person? Does it match your basics? Does it match what you are? And if it doesn't, move on. Find something or somebody else. Because that's all gonna help your business. Hey, for me, coming here almost 2 years ago, I was a successful agent for years. And I don't mean that like egotistically, but I've been a successful agent. But I went through a downtime, depression, I didn't feel well. I couldn't get out of bed as much. I just couldn't work. I needed a change. And Brittany, she called me every day for like 6 years, every day, just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I met them for like 1.5 years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, for like 1.5 years till I made the jump. And like Michelle and I, Simon and Trent, we all kind of did it together because we knew. I decided to pick up and drink Kool-Aid here, because that's what I always thought this place was. It's like, it's Kool-Aid, man. They're weird.
it is refreshing.
It is refreshing. It is. Oh, yeah. There you go. But I decided to take a drink, and I figured out that this was the right place for me. And I got to utilize what's best, what I'm best at. And it's things like teaching this class. You think this helps me? Yeah, this helps my business. It's the same thing whenever I speak about sobriety. You think that helps me? Yeah, it keeps it green for me. Helps me understand where I came from, where I am now, and how did I get there? Whether it's in sobriety, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in my business. I better figure it out. And if I can figure myself out and understand where I'm coming from, then I'm gonna be able to understand people better, and my relationships are gonna build, my business is gonna blow up, and mine's grew 43%.
In the last year.
I mean, my first half this year, I can't even get over it. Super blessed. Since July of last year.
Yeah.
And we had something happen to us last year in July. And the same day that happened, my business like literally blew up. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, thanks, guys. Anything else?
Any ahas? What are you gonna implement? What's one thing you're gonna implement starting tomorrow? Like you're gonna time block it tonight and you're gonna work on it tomorrow.
Me?
I'm looking at anybody but you, Chris.
I'm gonna go to more events.
I like that.
Yeah, because I went to an investor meetup last week and I got 3 leads from it, so.
So there you go. So you do well networking in a bigger setting,
Not really,
no?
but like, I was doing the networking like how I was comfortable. Like I
Okay.
didn't feel like I needed to go and talk to every single person, but I talked to enough people.
Was this the one in Harrisburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Anybody else?
Cause what's her name was there too?
Maddie.
Maddie.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I think you do what you believe in.
Yes.
Right.
So like, your brand is problem solving. So the more you talk to people, the more you figure out, the more you're empowered to help people.
Correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's really big for me. I'm really big with that. And that's,
And I think like for lead generation, if you don't believe in what you're saying to somebody, they're gonna pick up on that so quick.
100%.
So like lead generating might not look like calling everybody in your database. It might look like 10 minutes of research about something you can portray to somebody in your database that's gonna make a better impact.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, in college, I quit a class because there was a speech at the end. Couldn't talk in front of people. Could not do it. I was sick for weeks. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not get the credits. I'm just done. Then when I got sober, like I remember the first time I ever spoke about my story about, addiction into sobriety. It was something that I believed in. It was a truth for me. So it made it very easy to talk about. So the more I talk about things that not only I know or that I believe in, like Ben just said, makes it a lot easier for me to share. And I don't care. You can put me in front of 100,000 people today and say, listen, you're gonna talk about this. It's something I believe in, that I know about, that it's truthful for me. I'm not gonna be scared. Just not gonna happen.
There's a guy in Vegas who I stayed at after with, and he said their lead generating and like back to the basics type stuff it's like a 5,000 pound phone. If you pick it up, not believing what you're gonna say or not like adding value, it's gonna be super heavy
Oh, yeah.
phone. But if you change your idea of thinking where it's like you're giving out wins rather than asking for stuff, then it'll make it so much easier.
Yep, 100%.
I love that. And because it's easier and you enjoy it,
Yeah.
or you feel more passionate about it, then you'll be consistent. And that's the key, is whatever you choose to do, you can't do it a little bit here and then forget about it for a couple weeks and then do a little bit there. Like, you need to have a certain amount of time every week, whatever that looks like for you, consistently, over and over and over again. Dave Becker did well with postcards because they hammered the same houses with postcards. It was like monthly, I think, in the
Yeah, it
beginning.
was like 9,000 postcards a month. Like they were spending money and to get that return they wanted took time. Not everybody can do it that way.
Yeah,
I
you have
know,
to
I
be-
couldn't have done it starting off. I was broke as a joke. Like I literally can remember being in real estate early on. And I was previously married, and I remember being at Burger King. It was like our last $10. And I gave it to a homeless guy. Like, that guy needs to eat. And then I remember the next day I got an attack. This is when I didn't make as much money as like, and I didn't have to pay taxes. I actually got taxes back. Like, cause in real estate, I mean,
You owe.
you owe money. Like, you don't, I remember getting like $5,000 in my bank account the next day because my taxes that I was not expecting. And like that propelled me. Like I started to feel better. Like, but when you start, that's one of the things that I still struggle with. Like I struggle with making sure I'm paying my taxes properly or saving up enough. Like I'm not in any way, shape or form perfect. I am a daily project that I need a whole team to work on me. I do. And it's been that way ever since I was young. But as long as I understand it and I'm willing, things are gonna always be better for me. So, and this can be a very, very, very lucrative business if you just get back to these. Simple as that. Don't make it too hard. Don't complicate it. Just do the right thing and you'll be good to go.
I love that. Thank you.
Cool.
Round of applause. All right, folks. So, next is going to be